cannot believe I'm saying this, but we're on to movie 10 of the Swan Princess film series.
站的时候要站得更高，站的时候要站得更高，胜利旗帜空中飘。
This movie came out in 2020, and for a while it felt like the last of the series since we didn't get another movie until 2023. The only other thing to note is that Queen Uberta at this point is now voiced by Catherine Levine, who was also voicing Bridget. With how disappointing the last movie was, will this one at least deliver on the Chinese theme they had going? Let's find out by attending this royal wedding. We open with a summary of what happened in Kingdom of Music while seeing various Chinese paintings that don't really fit with the story they were telling.
Hoping to break the spell that had destroyed her chance for true love, Princess Mei Li secretly sailed from Cathay to the kingdom of the Swan Princess.
I think they might have used real paintings for this, but I couldn't find anything to prove it. Though there is some original art as well, like this one that Shen paints in front of Mei Li. The sorceress sees this affectionate moment and calls the emperor and his guards over to stop it. This is when Shen is turned into a dragon, and we learn that this curse was enacted because Mei's father is a dick.
Sorry.
And again, you could just settle for Dragon Shen since you're already deep into this forbidden romance. We jump back to the present where Mei Li is telling this story to Odette. The curse is broken now due to events in the last movie, but the Emperor still won't approve of his daughter's relationship. So Mei Li and Shen are now thinking about staying in Odette's kingdom instead.
Will you be truly happy here? I know if I had to live so far away from home, I'd miss it terribly.
Fair enough. Then Odette has another idea. She and Derek will go to Cathay to see if they can convince the Emperor to change his mind on Shen. And you know, I have thoughts surrounding this premise, but I'll save them for later. Let's just go over the main story, which isn't going to include Lucas or Alise since they're away for an off-screen tulip festival. I mean, I'm happy that Odette and Derek will have more to do. It's just kinda sad that their adoptive daughter and possible son-in-law are just unceremoniously dropped after being key parts of the last movie. The same could be said for Prince Li, who's still recovering after selflessly giving up his true love for Alise. Anyway, Uberta apparently had a nightmare about Derek and Odette not coming back and where are your eyebrows? Actually, there were many times last movie where her eyebrows would be gone. Maybe this is a second model they made for her? Stick with the eyebrows. I don't like this new look. After the usual credit animation thing that I can't stop mentioning, Odette and Derek set sail for Cathay with Mei Li and Shen. Meanwhile, the Emperor goes over something with the sorceress and... Wait, you have an emblem of a dragon that looks like Chen. Unless dragons just happen to have humanoid faces. That's kinda weird to have after what you did before. By the by, the sorceress is named Fang, voiced by Lena Yi. While being pretty subdued and even ominous in the last movie, she acts really over the top like Zelda from the third Swan Princess movie.
Good job, Fang! Note to self. Remind the Emperor of my skills more often. I give myself an 8 on that one. No.
Except even more hammy, if you can believe that. So once Odette and Derek arrive at Cathay, Mei and Shen stay on board as planned. The Emperor greets his royal visitors warmly and even let them meet him in private.
And the prince, who could only see her beauty.
Well, yes, but I also defeated the great animal, so there's that too.
They will never let you live that down, Derek. Anyway, to change the Emperor's mind on Shen, Odette presents the Emperor with a poem she wrote to make parallels between what she and Mei Li went through to hold onto true love, with some visuals to further illustrate the point.
She is like me, this brave swallow Mei Li. Just as I once flew, so she winged through my window one night.
I don't oppose this. While we are retreading themes from the first movie, the way the story is told by the people who experienced it makes the world feel more grounded than it should. And recontextualizing said story to fit into a new environment is pretty normal. I just wish the animation quality was better than this though, even if they stuck to 3D. And I guess the Emperor's mind is changed just like that. He gives Mei Li his blessing to marry Chen, so that was a fast resolution to his character arc. Sadly, Mei Li and Chen don't know this and decide to sneak out of the ship to mope in some nearby woods. Like, geez, you were willing to trust Odette that much? Couldn't you at least hold out for a miracle? Fang spies on the couple, and at first they thought they were discovered. Luckily, it's just Derek and Prince Li catching up to them and giving them the good news. All that worrying for nothing. This leads into a Mandarin song that I'm just going to assume was written with good intent.
当战斗结束时，
There, you try.
当战斗没守候，
When the battle is over, not when the battle's lost.
What a dumbass, constantly screwing up their language. While the boys sing, Mei Li is making a flower crown when Fang shows up to reveal why she agreed to cursing Chen. The sorceress wanted him for herself.
Why would Chen choose you?
I have a better question, Princess. Why would Chen choose you?
Don't dodge the question. Also, at least Rothbart wanted to marry Odette so he could become a king. As far as I know, Chen is a commoner that Fang could just find about anywhere. And I don't think trading your royal life for some hot commoner is the best villain plan out there. Anyway, Fang turns Mei Li into an old lady who will continually grow old and weak with each day. Then there's this new spell where if Chen lifts up Fang's veil on his wedding day, the princess would perish.
This will never work. I will tell the Swan Princess. Tell the whole world. No one will ever believe you.
You really are petty. At least Zelda was a little fun with her hamminess. Plus her evil plan was about harnessing the forbidden arts. You're just a horny sorceress with the mind of a teenager. You're only lucky that Chen doesn't see past your disguise. And neither does the Emperor, it seems. Well, we got an hour to kill, so let's start with that mural from before. Apparently, Chen was an artist hired by royalty, so Fang isn't marrying down per se, but she's still seeing a demotion in her status if her plan worked. She honestly should just marry Prince Li. And while that'd be creepy since he's younger, would that really stop her? Now that her plan is underway, Fang makes a fake deviation saying that Queen Uberta is ill. This causes Derek and Odette to leave Cathay, which gives the villain time to just look at some scrapbook they left behind.
I'm definitely adding this to my Book of the Month club.
I think she might be losing her mind. I mean, if she hasn't already. This is when Mei Li, who again is an old lady, tries to reach out to Odette. Sadly, some guards separate the two. Midway in the journey back to Uberta, Scully shows up to confirm that, actually, the queen is not dying after all.
I've seen warm lemonade with more kick than that.
Nonsense.
Yeah, she's fine. Odette and Derek start suspecting Fang, then realize that their scrapbook was stolen, which was how the sorceress knew of Uberta. Then, in a rare moment of genuine funny, both Derek and Uberta keep sending Scully back and forth to get answers to questions they have.
No idea.
Did Derek even ask?
Scully!
I need answers.
Stop! You gotta go now.
Point is, they need help in uncovering Fang's plot, but Uberta and Rogers will need disguises since Fang knows who they are. The Queen dons a flashy dress to assume the role of Madame Lacroix, while Rogers is her talent agent, Pennypacker.
World famous.
Oh, the hilarity that will ensue. The animals will also accompany them because of course they would. Derek and Odette use a rowboat to return to Cathay to warn Lee of what's going on. Lee then takes them to the Sorcerer's Flame, which is the source of Fang's power. Only royalty can put it out, but they need to catch the sorceress red-handed for wrongdoing first. Fair enough, but with how easily swayed the Emperor was with Odette's poem, maybe you should tell him anyway. Fang realizes that the heroes are onto her, though she almost gives herself away. So she tinkers with the combination lock protecting the flame. Then Lee comes up with a plan to sneak inside the palace undetected.
Did you do this, Woofshi?
Woofshi? That dog is named Woofshi? Anyway, they also need the key to Fang's lab. And the sorceress just so happens to slip it to Lee while disguised. Remember, they only think that Fang is messing with the wedding externally, and do not know what she did with Mei Li. Anyway, the lab is broken into and...
Should not. You should not have come back?
Charlotte, are you writing in the name of evil? Oh, she really is! Lee throws a rock at it and it dies. Yep, Rogers and Uberta show up with this.
Hey, look. You can buy a statue of Bigfoot for your garden.
A freaking magazine? Now you're going past Warcraft world building logic. Oh, and on the back there's a picture for The Jean Bob Show, which actually exists on the Swan Princess YouTube channel, though it only has 2 episodes. How the hell did we get to this point? Back on topic, Derek and Odette meet up with Uberta and Rogers to tell them of their own plan. The latter two will get inside the palace while the animals sneak into the lair. Derek and Odette will look for the old lady, and there's no time to waste, because Fang, who's disguised as Mei Li, convinces Chen and the Emperor to make the wedding day sooner.
I'm sorry, Rue, but I owe this to Mei Li. This and much more.
Funny, last movie you held her in contempt. Now you care for making things good for her? Derek and Odette managed to find someone who was in contact with the old lady, while Prince Lee helps Uberta and Roger sneak into the palace. The two introduce themselves to the Emperor and ask to see the green flame.
Send this clown away!
Do you command me?
Frankly, she should have been out long ago, but whatever. The animals try sneaking through the kitchen but run into Woofshi, leading to Speed and Puffin getting caught by the chef. While that's happening, Rogers learns more about the sorcerer's flame and wants Fang to perform some magic.
Shambles.
Add that to the list of things they probably couldn't replicate in 2D. Jean-Bob inadvertently saves his friends while trying to evade the guards. Then they end up in a video game? Not even Illumination would do something this stupid. The animals make it into the lab and end up tripping on something, which reveals the place for what it is. A lair for a villain. And on that table is... Well, at least they found proof. They show it to Derek and Odette, but they just lost sight of the old lady who was trying to tell the chef who she is. We then cut over to the Emperor showing Uberta the Merle. Here is where he admits to being too hard on his daughter, and Uberta can relate.
I wish I had their gift.
I'll bet sometimes they felt unfit as parents too. But I've found that our children tend to remember the best in us and let the rest fade away.
This can be taken as something where it's not too late to make amends, but that depends on whether the wronged party is forgiving. I suppose the Emperor wants to redeem himself for his daughter, even if he's not the best at it. Still, an interesting theme to parse out if the story was any better. Moving on, Lee tells the others about the wedding being moved up. He goes to talk to his father about what's going on, while Jean-Bob leads Odette to the old woman at the docks. Rue chips in with how the palace chef saw her and is touched by her sincerity, but Fang catches on and now has to stop them. Meanwhile, the Emperor shows Uberta where the wedding will take place, and I think he's starting to like her more.
I'd like you to be there. In fact, I'd like you to sing.
No thank you. Our heroes find old Mei Li, but Fang silences her with magic. But then the villain has to undermine herself by not keeping her mouth shut.
They have no idea who the old woman is. Zip!
The old woman is Mei Li.
Come on.
And this is why you don't gloat in public, you idiot. Fang tries going after them while Rue brings old Mei Li to the cottage. He doesn't know that this is the princess, but he goes on about what he knows about her and why he finds her inspiring.
She was so brave, because everyone should wish to be Mei Li.
All she did was evade guards, hide on a boat, then tried different methods to break a spell before falling to despair. I'd be more impressed if she actually fought her evil Rothbard equivalent, and as old Mei Li tears up from what she heard, Rue has to go, but he leaves someone to watch over the old woman. Fang confronts our heroes, and we have some petty exchange about how they're going to stop her and whatnot. The villain responds by trapping them in some kind of mural world? I mean, it's just a black void behind the mural with some pictures floating and nothing. Their images get added to the mural itself, and no one questions what's happening.
And Mei Li will die.
Now that's a 10, Fang!
You are the worst villain yet in this series. You're neither funny or imposing. Li shows his father the hologram to show that Fang is up to no good, causing the Emperor to go to the mural again to contemplate what to do next. The wedding is neither delayed or called off, but Fang manages to see the Emperor and they have a moment.
I will go away, never to return. That will be my punishment. You will never see me again, I promise.
If you do return, you will forfeit your life.
Yes, let the powerful sorceress leave so she may perhaps try to find a way to conquer you later. Rothbard was given grace in the first Swan Princess movie, and look how that turned out. This is also where we learn that the flame is also Fang's life force, so it should be easy for the Emperor to extinguish. Then again, if Rothbard taught us anything, evil will find a way to sustain itself. Prince Li bumps into that woman from the port, and maybe he'll get into a relationship with her? After what went on with Alise, I guess? In the meantime, Rue is having second thoughts about the old lady, and thinks she should go see the wedding, which will have Huberta singing. Really, after all the times we've seen her open that damn mouth of hers, how badly is she going to screw this up?
Your love comes to rescue me just in time, giving all you reach me just in time.
Okay, this is the one sequence in the movie that I honestly like. Huberta's voice actor does give it her all with the song, and the bit with old Li imagining herself with Chen is pretty sad. She is about to lose everything, but she's holding out that her love will come in just in time. Sure enough, her tears help Derek and Odette escape from the mural dimension. Somehow. I can only speculate that Mei Li's true self is trapped there as well. I don't know. But hey, this song is still good and deserves a better movie than this. So the veil is about to be lifted on fake Mei Li, but Odette and Derek try to intervene. Fang convinces the Emperor that this is just to stop the wedding, blah blah blah. Then we get an ass-pull moment as old Mei Li shows up and tries to convince her father that it's her.
I believe you.
Father.
All it took was for someone to believe to break the curse? Fang, you suck. The villain's plot is exposed. Chen tells her off when she tries to excuse herself. The color starts to contrast, and she begins her "screw it, everyone dies" rampage, which just amounts to her trying to poof everyone out of existence like she's freaking Kane from Digital Circus. Only Odette and Mei Li avoid getting sent to the mural dimension, and Fang plans to kill them by turning into a giant snake. You know, at least Rothbard was some kind of unique creature, and not some giant version of whatever she is. Prince Li also escapes and goes to activate the mechanism to extinguish the flame. But when he can't get the combination to work, the ghost of one of his ancestors appears.
Thank you.
Well, can't fix that with magic. You're on your own. Even as a giant snake, Fang won't shut up. Also, she can breathe fire because snakes can do that, right? Odette distracts Fang to help Mei Li get away. In the meantime, Li gets help from his new love interest to dump whatever is in the pot above the flame. We don't actually see anything pour out when they do get it to work, and this happens just as Mei Li decides to throw herself in front of Fang's attack. Well, I never thought we'd actually see a swan fry on camera. Well, at least Fang is no more and everyone is free. Odette is all nice and crispy. But hey, not the first time she bit the dust, so of course she's not dead. We wind things down when Odette and company head back home via boat. The royal family of Cathay gives its thanks, and the Emperor promises to be a better father to his children. After all, as Rue says,
"The times are certainly changing, Divine Emperor."
For better or for worse, this was better than the last movie despite its many issues. Fang is definitely the worst villain we had so far. Oh sure, Nuz was just a hungry bastard, but at least he tried to look dangerous and imposing. Fang is supposed to be the kind of intellectual villain that other human antagonists were before, but she lacked anything that could make us take her seriously. Even Clavius had more charm, and for a long time he was the weakest human antagonist before Fang came along. Her master plan would have succeeded if she didn't act so stupid or petty. And this problem leads to an overall impression I have for this movie and Kingdom of Music, in that they should have been one movie. That way, we could keep the romantic subplot between Alise and Lucas, and have Lee surrender his true love while the rest of the cast are defeating Fang. We don't need to have some coming-of-age music festival, competition, or whatever. And if you really wanted the coming-of-age thing to happen like in Kingdom of Music, then just separate it from the Cathay storyline entirely and find some other way to get Alise and Lucas together. I.e. put it in its own movie. Otherwise, it just interferes with the kind of story you wanted to tell in the present. So with that, we have two more Swan Princes to look at, and both also share a conjoined story. As much as I have fun poking at these movies, I really just want to move along with my life. There are good ideas to come out of this series, and there are good songs and characters, but they deserve to be in better stuff than whatever the hell this is. So stay tuned for next time when we see how a fairy tale is born.